Um,
Of course.
First of all, congrats on US winning it. I didn't stay till the end, but I saw on social media. I'm kind of upset, but best man wins. So congrats for that. Well done on that. Um,
Thank you. Yeah, it was
yeah.
exciting.
How did you feel?
It was great. I mean, I think being in a different country, representing yours, playing with different people, it's really special, and it's a cool way of meeting new people, of showcasing the talent that's coming out of the U.S. and then being able to win just made it all more special. So it was a great time.
Yeah, next year's going to be exciting for the Euros.
Yes.
So it's going to be a lot of pressure on you guys to first of all put on your performance and then also try and kind of win again, I suppose. So
Of course.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll get started with the interview. It's mainly on focusing on like female investment into paddle
Okay.
and sick love sports. We started talking about a bit about it at the tournament. So I kind of wanted to just call you back up and get a little bit more information about it because I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
So we'll kind of get started just for like the recording. Could I just get your name, kind of your occupation or your role in Six Love Sports?
Yeah. So my full name is Dhany Quevedo, and my role within Six Love Sports. So I have a sports management agency called Elite Sports Management, and so I have been hired by Six Love Sports to help with everything that has to do with sponsorships and partnerships, due to the rapid growth of the community. So. The community was started about a year or so ago here in Miami, and it's all about growing the sport for women, giving them visibility, empowering them to, be able to continue growing, getting better. And that's where I've been able to come in, is to, now that we're doing a lot of events, we're doing tournaments, we're doing leagues. I come in and try to give a little bit more exposure to Six Love Sports and bring in partnerships and brands to be part of those events with us.
And kind of how does that work for you in terms of your paddle player and kind of this behind the scenes role? How do you manage that in a sense?
Well, I started playing a little over a year ago, and I completely fell in love with it. I'm a previous tennis player, so the transition was pretty seamless. Obviously, there's difficulty there too with learning a new sport, but I saw how fun it was, how addicting it was, not just to previous athletes, but also to just people that have never picked up any sort of racket sport before in their lives. And so seeing how quickly it's growing, not only in Miami, but in the US, I saw an opportunity there to, create this agency, to then partner with Six Love Sports and to help them continue growing, continuing to give that visibility to women that I think, is Andy, who is the founder of Six Love Sport, has wanted to do.
And why do you think such kind of paddle is growing and it's kind of this new sport and it's breaking so many boundaries? Why is it important to kind of put an emphasis on the female athletes and the female players?
Well, I think like in any sport, we strive for equality when it comes to women's sports. I played professional tennis. I then played college tennis, and the equality hasn't always been there. And so, with a new sport, we are trying to elevate both the men and women for it to raise the level as equal as it can be. At the end of the day, right now there are more men players playing in the what would be the USPA circuit, the professional circuit here in the US, as well as recreationally. But there's a lot of women as well, and there's we think it's just as important for women to get that visibility and recognition as the men do, because we're putting in the work, we're investing in the sport, and we want to be able to help it be equal.
Yeah. And you're D1 player, you played tennis for kind of a long, long time. How does kind of tennis world differ from the paddle world in terms of equality?
Well, tennis is a more established sport. There's the professional circuit. Players can make a living and do make a living off of playing tennis professionally. Um, with paddle, specifically in the U.S., it's not the case right now. You need to be able to not just, you don't make a living just from prize money. you do need to have sponsors. You need to have some sort of support in order to be able to make a living out of it, because the prize money just isn't there to cover the cost. And I know that's sort of the case in, externally as well, in international competition. If you compare the number one paddle player to the number one tennis player in earnings, they don't come even close. I don't know the exact percentage, but I believe it's less than 10% of what tennis players could actually make from prize money. So that gives you an idea of the difference in between where tennis is right now and where paddle is. And obviously, we look at tennis since it's the more established sport as a benchmark, and maybe even as a goal of where we'd like to be in the future for the sport.
Yeah, and I think WTA is seeing such a like commercial rise and a real emphasis on female players, young female players. What do you think paddle can take from that, and how to grow? I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, it's same along the same lines. We are working on a junior development program where we do help juniors, start from an early age. However, there is still a tendency for parents to put their kids in a more established sport like tennis. So it's a slow progression. We see more high schoolers, teenagers picking up the sport. Um, and the adults as well. It's just it's a little tricky, as the progression continues.
And I think tennis, as you said, is kind of like the more established traditional sport, racket sport. Kind of as paddle is like the newcomers. What do you think tennis can take from paddle, if there's anything at all? Like the culture, like the world, I suppose.
Yeah, it's it's tricky because tennis, although there is the doubles, it is an individual sport, so it is a little bit of a different mentality when it comes to preparation, training, practices, etc. Um, what I think has made paddle so successful is the social aspect. Anybody, and it's a little bit easier to pick up. So even if you don't have any previous training or practice, you can get on the court and you can sort of, rally here and there with your friends, and it's how a lot of new friendships have been made, especially in this community here in Miami. You have made new friends, you've been able to be more social, and I think that's what people have really come to enjoy about paddle. It's still a more social sport rather than a competitive sport in the US, although there is a competition component to it. Tennis, I feel like, for me in my case, and my peers, the people I grew up training with and playing with, it was always very competitive from a very early age. Um, Even when you were, 8, 9, 10, it was a very, very competitive sport. You don't have a lot of friends on the circuit. Um, and it's different. So if there's anything it can take, I mean, tennis is where it's at because of maybe how serious it's been. But if there's a way of integrating a social aspect to it, I think it would make it a lot more intriguing, especially in the social level for tennis.
Yeah. And then, kind of finally, what was it about the Six Love sport that kind of attracted you to it? Because I think you were telling me a bit like you're a captain in one of the teams. So what was it about that kind of drew you to it?
Yeah. Well, like I said, I started playing paddle about a year and a half ago, and I meet Andy, who, like I said, is the founder of Six Love Sports, and she wants to create a league. And we had played some practice matches or just friendly matches in the time that I had been playing. And she said, "Hey, you're very social. You have a lot of friends. You're pretty well connected in the paddle world. I'm starting a league, and I would love for you to be one of the captains." And sure enough, I was honored to be one. It's been super fun. We've actually won the first 2 seasons, and the league finals is November 6th.
Well done.
So we're playing again for the title. It's amazing. I love my team, love my girls. It's a really cool concept, and it's helped me create and build new friendships as well, which is why I continue to stay in the captain role. And it's been great for my personal development as well too. we have about 35 girls on each team.
Wow.
So managing that is a lot of fun. It's not always easy, but it's great for my personal development skills for sure. And it's a great environment. We do the leagues weekly. We have charcuterie boards and food vendors and wine, and we usually play from 5 to 9 because we have 9 categories that play, or nine matches that are played within 3 categories. And then after the match, we all hang out, stick around, eat, and it's a lot of fun. So it's probably my favorite night of the week on Thursdays.
That's amazing.
Yeah,
I think kind of how you're describing is kind of an emphasis on what paddle is. It's like communities kind of getting together, playing, and then kind of socializing afterwards. So, is there anything kind of you like to add at the end of the interview? Um,
well, Six Love Sports is expanding, and we started here in Miami. We just launched in New York City. We're expanding across the U.S. in cities like San Diego. We want to go to Texas as well, and we're expanding international as well. So we are looking for ambassadors across the globe that would love to be part of the Six Love Sports community and help us expand, help us continue growing the sport. Because although it is starting here in the U.S., we'd love to be part of a global movement. So we're only growing, and we're looking to grow the team. So excited to continue the journey.
yeah, that sounds amazing. I'm excited for it. If I played, I would have loved to join at
Yes.
tennis. So you don't want me on your team. I'll be a fan, but not going on the team. But thank you so
It's,
much
of
for
course.
taking the time to do this. Yeah, I'm really excited to see how kind of it grows, it develops. To also see your journey in paddle as well. So yeah,
Thank you.
thank you so much for taking this